continue to believe that repealing the vaccine mandate is a mistake. Making sure our troops are ready to defend this country and prepared to do so, that remains the president's priority, and the vaccine requirement for COVID does just that. It's part and parcel of that effort. Republicans in Congress have obviously decided that they'd rather fight against the health and well-being of those troops rather than protecting them.
This is the biggest schmuck I've ever met. Oh, Republicans in Congress would rather fight against the well-being of soldiers. Not even close!
Yo, really think about that, man. We have no data on how this is going to affect those soldiers long term. We have no proof it's helping anybody because you beat COVID 99.9% of the time. It's also not a vaccine. It's not a vaccine. A vaccine keeps you from getting the thing you don't want. You've never gotten out of bed. People say, well, Jimmy, oh, hey, who? They mandate other vaccines in the military. Yes, they did. The measles, the mumps, Jimmy. Huh, Jimmy? I got you now. How you going to get out of this one, Batman? I'll tell you how. Okay? Those other vaccines work. They were subject to decades, in some instances, of clinical trials before they were made mandatory.
Correctamundo.
Okay, so the idea is, yes, we sign up for those vaccines because we know they've had over 10 years of testing. You know what else they haven't had? Over 10 million breakthrough cases.
That is correct.
They've never had 10 million breakthrough polio cases one year. 10 million breakthrough cases of the measles. We've had over 10 million people get COVID after getting vaccinated. So when you tell me, oh, with a vaccine, we're looking out, you don't care about that's clown stuff. Okay, listen to this one. Here's Sabrina Singh. Says you get rid of the vaccine mandate, it would negatively impact force readiness. Clip 7.
Generally speaking, the vaccine mandate appears to have very minimal impact on recruiting, and it would impact the readiness of the force. You're more prone to getting COVID-19. Again, we've seen that the impacts of COVID, we had millions of people die here in this country because of either not having access to the vaccine or not taking the vaccine. And, you know, we certainly know that the vaccine will save your life.
I mean, come on, the vaccine will save your life.
You don't have a clue.
We really don't know that, man. And I don't take any joy in saying that. I wanted the vaccine to work. It's in my body, dude. I'm not that person. But we don't know that it works. Like, I couldn't in good conscience. The health of our troops, so embarrassing. Clip 8.
What we saw, what we think happened here is Republicans in Congress have decided that they'd rather fight against the health and well-being of our troops than protecting them, and we believe that it is a mistake. What we saw on the NDAA as it relates to the vaccine mandate, making sure our troops are prepared and ready for service is a priority for President Biden.
I mean, did you hear that, KJP? Really? That's the priority? That's what we're doing right now?
Get her out. Get her out of here.
Come on, making sure our troops are prepared and ready for service is a priority? Okay, let's get them weapons. Okay, get them out there. Get them focused on the ruthless destruction of our enemies. Okay, that's the point of war, to inflict maximum peril on the opposition. So they understand that force is a deterrent. You don't want to use it. You want them to know it is so lethal. You know, if you grew up in my area, you got hit with like a belt or a spoon by your parents, but sometimes you didn't have to because they just held up the spoon. Oh, hell. This is, you know, you're arguing with your brother in the kitchen. Next thing you know, someone's brandishing a spoon in.
That can't be good.
Not good, okay? And you back down. Now, we're not holding up the spoon. We're holding up the vaccine needle.
Hey, don't act up over there, Russia, because if we get some people that'll take the vaccine, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. I'm telling you now, guys, it's embarrassing stuff. And I'm telling you, there's no way this ends good for any of us.
What can I tell you, kid? You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
You're listening to Fox Across America with Jimmy Thaler.
I enjoyed it. It was an unbelievably interesting experience.
Like most Americans, you can see things are out of control. Global problems, local consequences. Too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, ready. Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today is the day to secure emergency food for your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. As equals energy equals survival. And as you'd expect from a true preparedness company, our food kits are in stock and shipped. Those who know what's coming are preparing today. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. patriotsupply.com.
Get all of your favorite Fox News podcasts commercial-free on Apple Podcasts with Fox News Podcasts Plus. From Dana Perino, Kennedy, Ben Domenech, The Duffys, and many more. Subscribe now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. The Fox News Rundown, a contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Your daily dose of news twice a day. Featuring insight from top newsmakers, reporters, and Fox News contributors. Listen and subscribe now by going
Try to make sense of it, and you can't unless the sense is this. Barack Obama's a Democrat. He wants the Democrat to have control and more power, and they will put anyone into positions of power if it means that they get their agenda through. It's party over everything, and if that means being absolutely hypocritical on some issues, so be it.
Weekdays at 3 p.m. East, noon West. Listen live or get the podcast now at GuyBensonShow.com.
This is Fox News Talk.
Headline Rewind.
1977. Criminal Gary Gilmore.
I simply accepted a sentence that was given to me. I've accepted sentences all my life. By an affirmative vote of a majority of the members of the Board of Pardons of the state of Utah, the death sentence imposed on Gary Gilmore will not be commuted or lessened.
I let the American people down, and I have to carry that burden with me for the rest of my life.
The Santa did it through me. He used me. He made me go out there and do it. I did it for him, for blood, so he can have the blood.
In this hour of sorrow of both Tennesseans, the nation, and indeed around the world, the sadness reflects the talent of one of the greatest talents that this country's ever produced, or maybe this world has ever produced.
As it happened then, news as it happens now.
This is Fox News Talk.
We are Acrisure. 14,000 experts around in game-changing technology to unlock an extraordinary advantage in insurance, state services, cyber services, asset management, and more. We are the high-tech human approach to help protect and grow everything you've worked so hard to build. It's nice to meet you. Find out what Acrisure can do at acrisure.com.
This is House Call for Health. This is supposed to be a joyous time of year, but for some people, the holiday season can bring on an undue amount of stress. And with inflation concerns this year, psychologists are urging people to keep an eye on their mental health. Dr. Melanie Longhurst is a licensed psychologist at Texas Tech and says high costs of food and gifts could cause financial stress.
Where we're trying to show that we care for people through gift of some kind, or trying to score that perfect deal. and that can be very stressful.
But Longhurst says it isn't just stress that happens during this time of year. Depression is also common.
Grief, loss, joy, sadness. I mean, it can really be a lot of mixed feelings. Loneliness, recognizing what you're feeling, what do you need, and being okay with that.
Experts also say sticking to healthy habits can decrease stress. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Help. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Reading from the pandemic-themed children's book, Oh, the Places You Won't Go, by Dr. Fauci.
Congratulations! Today is your day, if you've been vaccinated. If not, there's no way. Can't take planes, Biden said. Can't take trains, walk instead. You can't steer yourself any direction you choose. You're stuck at home, and you're on your own, bro. Cause you are the guy who's not vaxxed and can't go. You'll walk up and down streets, look in stores if you dare, but you can't go inside. You're not vaxxed, they don't care. Wear your mask. You still can't hit a movie, they won't give you a seat. And you might still find many fun places in town. If you're going unvaxxed, you'll leave wearing a frown. And when spring starts to happen and winter is through, you still won't belong. You'll get kicked out. Oh, the places you won't go.
Yep, one of them happens to be war. They're fighting in the White House right now, urging Congress to hold on to the vaccine mandate for our troops. Even though the vaccine even though the troops face far more dire risks than COVID. And I understand it's, well, we don't want a mass outbreak. That's why you got to do it. If the thing goes viral, then all of a sudden you can't fight. But do we have any proof whatsoever? And zip zilch that the vaccine is stopping any type of transmission?
The answer would be no.
Again and again and again. You know the old adage, when you have the facts, pound the facts. When you got nothing, pound the table.
Put up or shut up.
They ain't putting up. The only thing they have when it comes to the vaccine is self-righteousness. Okay, is just shaming him. Do you remember this?
Not getting vaccines. It's time to start shaming them.
Because frankly, we know that we can't trust the unvaccinated.
Their freedom. I want my freedom to live.
No, screw your freedom. You're a schmuck for not wearing a mask. We have to stop coddling the morons who will not get the shot.
Shame on you.
I mean, when you really think about that, okay, we gotta shame these people. And what are they basing that shame on other than their own sense of self-righteousness? The answer? Nothing.
He's a lousy dad, but he's right.
Just self-righteousness. And that's what we're doing to the troops now. Self-righteousness in the fact that the people pushing this vaccine are making a lot of money, girlfriend. Big money. I'd love a ski home in Vail, Colorado as much as the next guy. But I don't think we should risk losing a war over whether or not I make the extra stock options to get it. It's a lot of scandalous stuff going on in D.C. these days. The swamp, swampier than ever. I'm drain it, but we'll hand out some hazmat suits in the next hour. Molly Hemingway, senior editor for The Federalist, is coming by, and you'll be here too, damn it. Don't you go anywhere. We're back after this.
You're like most Americans. Out of control. Global problems have local consequences. Too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, you better be ready. Grocery stores. Don't wait for them to break. Today is the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our special packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. And as you'd expect from a true preparedness company, our food kits are shipped quickly. Those who know what preparing today, go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
If you have private student loan debt over $75,000, listen up. Credible.com can help you refinance your private student loans and save thousands. Sites that show you teaser rates, Credible lets you compare actual pre-qualified rates from top lenders in minutes. And with their best rate guarantee, if they can't find you a lower rate, they'll give you a gift card. Let Credible help you get out from under high interest rate student loans. Go to Credible.com now.
Corporations Inc. Pre-qualified rates are not an offer of credit. Terms apply. Visit Credible.com for details.
The very latest headlines, along with in-depth analysis and conversation. Fox News Radio and FoxNewsPodcasts.com.
The choice was one or none on Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's Secretary of State Antony Blinken after the prisoner swap with Russia that freed American basketball star Brittany Griner. Detained American Paul Whelan remains in Russia.
I wholeheartedly wish that we could have brought Paul home today on the same plane as Brittany, just as at the time I wish we brought Brittany and Paul home when we secured the release of Trevor Reed back in April.
Blinken says they will keep working to free all Americans wrongfully detained. President Biden announced Griner's release earlier today alongside her wife, Sherelle.
BG's not here to say this, but I will gladly speak on her behalf and say that BG and I will remain committed to the work of getting every American home, including Paul, whose family is in our hearts today.
Griner is expected to arrive back in the U.S. within 24 hours. U.S. sending notorious arms dealer Victor Bout back to Russia. A bill giving same-sex marriage heads to the president's desk.
The House gave final approval to the Respect for Marriage Act, legislation codifying federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriage.
Today, this chamber proudly stands with the forces of freedom, not going.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi presided over the vote. Every Democrat voted yes, along with 39 Republicans.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Opponents argue the measure will undermine the freedoms of religious institutions. The bill does not codify the Supreme Court decision that legalized same-sex marriage, requiring states to allow it, but it does require states to recognize marriages that are legal when they're performed, offering protection for those unions if the decision is overturned. A COVID shot update for kids under age 5. The FDA clearing the way for younger kids to get the new Omicron targeting booster. A green light still needed from the CDC. America is listening to Fox News.
It all started with the brutal murder of a young married couple. Now, more than 40 years after the couple was found, investigators and forensic genealogists are cracking the case wide open to uncover a stunning second mystery.
Where's the baby? I said, well, wait, he had a baby?
We cross the country speaking with victims' families and those close to the case as we ask, what about Holly?
I just want to know what happened.
Available on FoxNewsPodcasts.com and wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's Brian Kilmeade. And even President Obama came out and said, listen, I made some mistakes. One of the mistakes was not getting fully behind the uprising in Iran in 2008 because I thought it was in our better interest to stay quiet, not be an excuse for Iran to crack down on those who rose up. Understood? So President Biden was vice president at that time. Now he's not doing anything anywhere.
Listen live weekdays at 9 a.m. East or get the podcast now at BrianKilmeadeShow.com.